Each year, thousands of patients are faced with the dilemma of whether to keep or amputate their limbs due to injury or illness. And joining us today is Dr. Ronald Delanois to tell us about Save a Limb Ride. Also, Rachael Foote will tell us how the doctors at Sinai Hospital were able to save her hip. And this and more on this edition of 11 TV Hill. How rewarding is it for you to be involved in something like this?
Well, I think it's, I can't speak enough about it. For me, I think that's one of the reasons I came to the Rubin Institute is because we do such great things. We're not just an orthopedic department. We do a tremendous amount of research. We have an international presence, and our patients are our satisfaction. They come back, and you'll see when you talk to Rachael. I mean, Rachael is an inspiration. She's energetic. Her smile is captivating, and it's because of people like her that keep us doing what we do.
Yeah, we're going to be hearing from her in the next segment, but what did you learn by watching her?
Her perseverance, her motivation, her enthusiasm. I mean, her persistence. We could all learn from our children when they're faced with a challenge, and how well they take that challenge on and continue and be persistent and get to their goal. I mean, that's an example for all of us.
Yeah, indeed.
When I was 5, I was diagnosed with leg calf Perthes disease, and it's when the ball of your hip collapses because of loss of blood supply. And the doctors at Sinai have healed me all up, and now I can do anything I want to. Well, when I was younger, I spent a lot of times just sitting out from activities and not being able to play with my friends, and now I have no limits. I'm playing softball, I'm dancing, and riding bikes.
Rachael Foote received advanced care for her hip at the Rubin Institute for Advanced Orthopedics at Sinai Hospital, and she joins us today. We want to welcome Rachael. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
We just heard from you a little bit about your journey. Tell us more about when you found out at what age that you had a hip deficiency.
At 4, I found out that I had the hip disease. Okay. And we were originally going to a different doctor, not Sinai, and they took more of a watch and wait approach, which actually was detrimental too.
What were the symptoms that you were having at that age?
I just had a lot of pain when I was walking, and it was a lot of similar symptoms as to like growing pains that you would experience when you're younger.
Mm-hmm. So at what point did your parents decide that the watch and wait approach just wasn't going to work for you?
I think probably when I was about 10, mm-hmm. we went to Sinai and got a different opinion.
Mm-hmm. And what was that opinion?
Well, they told us that we would need to do surgery to correct the damage that had been done to my hip.
Okay. And so what kind of surgery did that entail, and what's the recovery been like?
Well, they completely reconstructed my hip, and like Dr. Delanois was talking about with some of the other patients, I did have to have an external fixator to keep my hip in the socket.
Wow.
And the recovery was rough, but obviously I made it through, and I'm able to do anything today, so.
What was it like, though, when you were actually going through those issues with your hip, just trying to function on a day-to-day level?
Well, I got really frustrated a lot because I felt like, I wasn't going to get better, and that no one could really relate to what I was going through because it was such a rare thing.
Did you feel like you were kept out of a lot of what your peers were able to experience?
Yes, I did. There was sports and just being able to do simple things like running around and playing tag with my friends.
Mm-hmm. And look at you now. I mean, you've come through the journey remarkably well. What do you think about when it comes to the care that you received?
I have nothing but good things to say about the care I've received. Dr. Standard has made such an unbelievable connection with me, and really the doctors and the staff at Sinai has done an unbelievable job with, making me feel better about what I went through, and did just such a great job.
Now, throughout this journey, have you been able to meet other people who have gone through this as well?
Yes, I've met many other people, and it's actually very humbling to meet some of the people that I have, because it makes me realize that, you know, things that I've been through are not as bad, you know. And I like to meet other people because I like to try and help if I can and make people feel better.
Right.
So,
And one way that you're helping is being part of the Save a Limb ride. What's your participation going to be like?
well, this year I'm doing the 6-mile ride. I was originally going to do the 15, but there's a little girl named Natalie, and this is her first year being able to ride by herself. So I figured I would ride with her and help cheer her along.
Oh, neat. So I'm sure you've served as an inspiration to her. Tell us about Natalie.
Natalie is just the sweetest girl. She inspires me, and I love her to death. She is just an all-around great kid. She has a great attitude with everything.
Do you find that in general, people that have gone through this are just that much stronger and have that much more of a positive outlook than others?
I do, because I think that when you go through something like this, it makes you change your perspective on life, and it makes you realize some of the things that you take for granted every day.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you taking the time. You want to hold up the shirt? You're going to be wearing this as part of your team?
Yes.
Okay. All right, and that's what you're going to have on for the Save a Limb ride, and that again is October 20th. We thank you for sharing your story. It's definitely a story of inspiration.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you look great.